I study corporate law there. Majorly, I think whenever everybody hears of corporate law, first thought they have is like it's a money making profession. Definitely, that is the reason I chose corporate law. And the first when I entered here, I forgot all my speech of the folder preparation that I prepared. So I'm not going to go by the speech. Going to go by the process of what I studied while I was writing the paper. So it is technological innovation and legal strategies for environmental risk management in international mergers and acquisition. Everybody knows about the mergers and acquisition definitely, or the corporate takeovers. Majorly, the large companies take over the small companies or the startups, and nobody thinks that the takeovers or merger and acquisition creates a big amount of problems in the countries. Because suppose there is a country like UK, they have a lot of money. They comes and acquire small businesses in any developing countries, we can say in Africa or in Asia. They have a set of rules, a set of things they do, and that changes everything about the initiate of a startup or a small company or the company that was already existing. By that, they do not think that how much they are going to harm the environment, what are the rules and regulations of the developing countries. So now let's get to the fine. So I thought of a problem that in corporate law also we can make changes that can improve the sustainability development that can go with the sustainability development. So the basic thing I thought is that technological innovation is the most important thing in the law that can help maintaining the sustainable development. So if I talk about the mergers and acquisition, uh, basically the large companies when acquire small companies or any other company or merge with them. Suppose like in UK there is Sky TV and in India there is a Tata. So when they merged, it became Tata Sky. So when we just see that two brands are merging. It's not just that. Everything about the brands change. How it changes from the logo to everything to the setup to the place, they start making things that are going to harm the environment. For example, a land is going to harm. If there is a company that is doing mining in the UK, might be legal in UK and might not be legal in US. We have I have created certain list of companies. Uh, According to them, they are legal in developing countries, but they are not legal in developed countries. Like the batteries they make in Africa is legal in Africa, but not legal in US because for them it is damaging the environment of the country. So we have to think that every country together should create such corporate laws that all all the mergers and acquisition can work upon them so that not only uh, developed countries have sustainable development goals, but developing countries can also cope up with the development goals. Just like somebody previously said that India or China, these are creating more carbon emission than compared to developed countries. So we have to reduce, we have to change the laws so that developing countries can also cope up with the developed countries. For that, we have yes. So we can talk about the Basel Convention, Paris Agreement, Equator Partnership Principles, and ISO 14001. So in the ISO 14001, there is environmental management system. What environmental management system talks about is that how we can I'm sorry, I forgot about the environmental management system, but this is the main thing that I believe is correct. When I went to the conclusion, environmental management system is the perfect model to continue with for all the countries. It was to plan, check, do, and act. I think everybody, some of you know about it, that you plan everything, then you check, then do, and then act. For developed countries, it is very easy. For developing countries, it is easy to see that how developed countries are doing it and then copying it so that they can also uh, contribute in the sustainable development. Then after that, there are national legal provisions. For the United States, there is CERCLA. So this is a payout theory. Whenever a company creates pollution or harm to the environment, suppose a river is harmed by the chemical created by a company, the payout theory makes it possible for the government to reduce the pollution. So what payout theory does, if a company is making a pollution, it is going to pay a certain amount of however how much the company is harming the country or the environment. The same is with the European Union, but for the developing countries, it is a bit different. Thank you. For the developing countries, it is a bit different. The developing countries first ask the company that how much you are going to harm the environment, give the documents about it, then we will provide you the permission to work upon it. Just like the case studies of environmental company compliance in mergers and acquisition. So I've written some companies like Bayer Monsanto acquisition. There was an acquisition which US and UK both rejected the because of the environmental issues. So the company initially was a very developed company, but when the merger and acquisition happened, the government saw that there is a problem with the company. The chemicals they use harms the environment, and the merger has to stop. So this is not the only example. The Glencore extra merger, it was a mining related company which was a profitable company, but when the merger and acquisition happened, the countries, the UK and US, know, got to know that the mining is actually harming too much environment. So that is that is how merger and acquisition is a very important thing, and corporate law is a very important thing that we have to connect with the environmental law that is changing everywhere. After this, environmental due diligence in cross-border and mergers and acquisition. Majorly, it is about the cross mergers only, because if the mergers are in a country itself, there are no going to be dispute about the laws. Both the companies are already aware of the laws. Environmental site assessment is a process done by Indian government. So what it does, first is it checks the review of records, then it do the site inspection, interviews, sampling and laboratory analysis. Innovations in environmental risk management. So how technology is going to help in the environmental risk management is, first is the remote sensing and drones. If anybody knows about Internet of Things sensors, so Internet of Things sensors can be used to check real-time data of how much a company is actually polluting the environment. And then the government can charge on the basis of that to that company so that it can use that money to restore the environmental things. Like if a company is polluting the river, then how much the government has to take from the company to again clean the river. So, other than Internet of Things, there are drones that can also provide real-time data, as the drones can regularly check from the sky how much the company is actually doing. Other than that, big data and AI analytics. So AI can definitely calculate the from the previous data that what actually a company is polluting, rather than what company is providing in the documents that what they are going to pollute. So as the time is less, there are some financing instruments also that some are thinking of doing, like green bonds, sustainability linked loans. So if the environmental problems are inter-countries, there can be provided green bonds so that we can ask people, ask companies to invest and then provide them with the money that with the money of how to again restore the environment that they are harming. Okay, other than that, if anybody has any question about this.